Just that. In charge of the game, Dan Marawelli, Dan Shakti, Kevin Collins, the linesman, Kerry Fraser, the standby. The off-ice officials are from Washington. Gilchrist with a shot that sticked high by Ed Belfour. Larry Murphy drops back on defense. Sean Chambers of the Dallas defense cannot play because of a knee. So Craig Muni, the veteran, is in the lineup today. Osgood covers. Greg Adams is out as well with an injury, and Jamie Wright is in at forward for Dallas. But let's look back on this series. Martin Lapointe with his 6th goal in the playoffs, Game 1. Ed Belfour with a solid effort in Game 2. Nick Lidstrom 2 goals and an assist in Game 3. In that flawed game we talked about, Ed Belfour was hoping to draw a penalty here. He did not, had to scamper back to the crease. Not in time. Martin Lapointe beat him.
Eddie Belfour was saying that there was, hey, that's over with. The 3 goals are gone. Hopefully all out in one game. And he just wants to rebound, which he normally does. Belfour, after having a questionable game all season long, bounced back to win. As you see the Stars here go with another shot towards the net. That was a face-off that was won by Dallas. Steve Yzerman told me he feels that the Stars are the toughest face-off team that they faced all season long. Ken Hitchcock on his team, a couple things to watch for. He's going to play 3 centermen a lot. Watch for Benoit Hogue to play the wing and to do a lot of banging and crashing. And he said watch for wrist shots from the point on the power play.
One change for Detroit. Joe Kocur is out, and Doug Brown is back in. Shot knocked down in front by McCowan. Loose puck scrapped for and tossed aside by McCowan and chipped back to neutral ice. No points in the last 7 games for the twirling Sergei Zubov. But now Sergei Fedorov hands it on back for Bob Rouse. Banks it over to Brendan Shanahan, who fires, and a save made by Belfour. Shanahan, another of the top scoring players in the lineup, but with no points in his case in the last 6 games.
And Zubov now stuck in his own zone. The defenseman without a stick here.
Hustling over is Holmstrom. Took a hit, but drove it back around. Bob Basson saw it go by. Kept alive by Erickson. Floated back in for Holmstrom. Holmstrom tried to center, but it went off his skate. Still, they battled for it. And reaching it to throw it back up is the veteran Guy Carbonneau of Dallas.
Zubov ought to just get off the end. Now finally he gets to the bench.
Draper's shot is wide. Kept by Erickson, and in front it's flagged down by Daryl Sador and iced. And so the touch-up from Slava Fetisov.
Well-paced beginning to this game for both hockey clubs. Both teams throwing the puck to the net as much as possible. And a good response here from the fans in Detroit as they see the game start again. Dallas hopes to go with 3 centermen, Mike. Get a lot of ice time from Carbonneau, Modano, and Skrubin. And when the game started, Dallas had Modano on the ice. Right away, Detroit had Lidstrom and Murphy, the defense pairing against Mike Modano. So it'll be interesting to see how Detroit goes. Will they continue with just rolling 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines? Because Dallas is not going to. Modano also said playing 23, 24 minutes in a game against Detroit, that's like playing 33 and 43 minutes. He said everywhere you go, there's somebody on you. There's a stick on you. You got to fight through sticks. 6 or 7 times Modano has gotten to the bench and said, I'm just exhausted. I hope the period's over. Detroit really playing Modano tough so far in this series.
Puck turned to center ice and handled there and thrown back on by Nick Lidstrom. Followed on back, and Benoit Hogue turned it back in for Dallas. It is Osgood sweeping it around behind, but went away from Lidstrom. Pivoting with it now is Slava Kozlov. Guides it back across. It's worked back on for Igor Larionov. Larionov taps on back for Nick Lidstrom.
It's an example of Hogue playing left wing. He's playing now with Modano. Modano getting more ice. Hogue the left side. They want Benoit Hogue and his power that he has to forecheck and crash.
Here comes Mike Modano. Score! It kicked back out and was not in. I beg your pardon.
That was close. There's a lot of people who thought it was in, Mike. Boy, Modano skating freely and skating well here early.
So now Lidstrom in a scoreless game. I just want to acquaint myself with that fact, that's all. Here goes Rouse. Rouse back on defense. After him was Keane. Boy, I like the pace in this one, John.
Very, very solid, quick pace with both hockey clubs, and everything with Dallas is to the net. See that? Even Hatcher tried the backhand there. No fancy offensive plays for Dallas early.
Steve Yzerman brings it back out for the Red Wings. Took some lumber, sped it in, and went down to the ice. McCowan. Oh, and what a collision there with Mike Keane. Keane is the guy a week ago who really reefed Darren McCarty. Sent McCarty to the bench with a smile on his face, recognizing the H in hockey stands for the hits. If there was a P in hockey, it would mean post, not a goal. The iron, and no score.
15 pounds there. Really throws his body around.
Murphy out in front, backhander off the glove. A bell for by McCarty. Hustling back out is Mike Modano, but he gave it up for Lidstrom. It is Richard Matvichuk back along to Modano and then on to Jamie Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner looked like it might have been an offside play. Lettman with a backhander. That covered by Osgood and play stopped.
This has been the best line for Dallas. They're put together late in game 3 and they're staying with the line. It's Modano with Lettman and Langenbrunner. And they're clicking big time. Dallas has struggled to find offense and good combinations. First good pass, that second pass drew 4 Red Wings to one side. And now you can see Dallas just goes to the net. There's the backhand shot and a good save. And Chris Osgood, no rebound. He stayed away from allowing rebounds in game 3, and that was a key part to the game for Chris Osgood. And you can see there, Yzerman picked up Modano, the opposite center, and Osgood did not allow the rebound. But Dallas is skating well here in this first period.
Brian Skrudland to take the draw. He has Grant Marshall on the right. Back at the right point is Craig Ludwig. Face off at least one to the corner by Detroit, but not controlled. Quick shot is stopped by Osgood. He has had to be strong so far.
Mike, I think sometimes a team will allow the other team to win a draw and then get there and recover it. Now on this play, Yzerman beat Skrudland, but Basson right here, the man there, watch him get to the puck here and force the turnover. I think Skrudland allowed Yzerman to win the draw, then set up the shot on goal, and Osgood had to be terrific in making the save.
Skrudland hustled right back in there. He was ready for this draw, topped it to the corner, played back along for Brendan Shanahan of Detroit.
I think they did it again. I think they forced the puck back to the right corner, to the young defenseman Eriksson, and then try to force offense from it.
Yzerman backhanded it in. It's jammed back around by Belfour. Whipped back out by Marshall and controlled by Eriksson. Sergei Fedorov tried to float it ahead, blocked down now by Marshall. Marshall a drive, and it's held by Osgood.
Chris Osgood establishing himself early here again. Here's the face-off. Now let's roll. You see Skrudland. Watch Skrudland go around this side as Yzerman draws the puck back there. Let's watch and see if it's on purpose. See how he zips around? Now let's back it up again and go forward. He knows Yzerman's going to go to his right. See him zip around? Now Basson's in on the other side. Skrudland now goes the other way. So I think it's done on purpose. Here's the long shot with a puck on edge. Difficult for a goaltender, and Osgood fought it off and made the save. There was a shot just like that last night that Juneau scored against Hasek to make it 2-0 for Washington. The long shot with the puck rolling. This time Osgood fought it off and made a good save.
Washington ahead in that series after losing game 1, winning the next 3. Buffalo did not lose 3 straight all year. Here's Pat Verbeek with an opening. Save Osgood! Rebound! And he's able to cover that one and send it behind. Blocked around now by Verbeek. Worked back up the boards and kept alive by Zubov. It is McCowan, and it is a penalty coming up. It'll be against Detroit.
Interference call, and Dallas has earned the power play. Detroit, not quite.
Dallas has been empty for 17 on the power play in this series.
Watch for wrist shots from the point. Zubov and Sador playing the point for Dallas. They want wrist shots. Detroit's penalty killing has just been fabulous. Yzerman said the key is their forwards in their own zone don't run up too long and too fast against the defenseman to create a gap behind them. Other than that, we just work hard at killing penalties.
The Stars angle it in. Came over for McCarty. Chopped at by Modano. Drilled back along by Larry Murphy. Retreating is Zubov.
That allows all 4 penalty killers to change. 0 for 17, as you said, Mike. 1 for the last 48. Dallas needs one desperately to try and get the lead. They're a much better team with the lead.
Jamie Langenbrunner ahead. Sneaking on is Modano. Snapped down by Osgood and then drilled to the corner. Though he has not scored yet, we are seeing the Mike Modano of the past flower here.
He's flying. Flying.
And he'll get even more ice time as a result of that.
Benoit Hogue moves to center ice for the power play here on the second unit.
Zubov shooting one that's deflected into the seats.
And because the puck went off of Pat Verbeek, the faceoff comes outside the Detroit zone. The shots are 5-2, but it almost seems like more than that. Not much of quality for Scotty's team against Eddie Belfour. Scotty said he wants his team to stay out of the penalty box. Penalty killing a lot, he said, usually around a third of a game, puts too much pressure on the penalty killers like Yzerman and Fedorov. As you see again, Osgood make the save off the shoulder. Man, he's fighting those high shots and making good saves. Really battling is Osgood. But Scotty says, you know, we use Fedorov, we use Yzerman a lot to kill penalties, and if we have to kill too many, they can start to get tired.
Boy, what a stark set of figures you just saw there. 8-1. You think we'll see Modano before the end of this power play?
He had one shift, and it was his regular line, his even strength line with Lettman and Langenbrunner. I don't know. He's had a lot of ice time early.
Brought ahead by Zubov. Right side.
Maltby knocking into Mike Keane, knocking him offside, which is a good play if you get away with it. Good job by Maltby to force the offside.
Young man from suburban Detroit. Grew up here, and he wears number 9, and they asked him, well, is that because of Gordie Howe? And he said, well, that's part of it. And the other part of it is that my dad grew up in Boston, and Ted Williams wore number 9 there. And then the other part of it is when I got to Minnesota, it was the only one they had available.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you're in the sporting world and you look at Gordie Howe and Ted Williams, how about that? 9 isn't bad.
No. And 9 hasn't been bad thus far. Despite the scoreless nature of this game, 21 seconds to go, and Belfour with a misplay, and he got help.
Eddie has not handled the puck at all well here in the first period. He may be having a little case of the nerves, the jitters a little bit. He's not getting any work.
The shots are 5-2 in favor of Dallas. Detroit had the first 2 in the game.
Mike, the last game here, Detroit scored on 4 of their first 6 scoring chances. Belfour to the bench, a delayed penalty again against Detroit. They kill one off. Fedorov now goes for cross-checking. He saw it, and Dallas goes on another power play.
Puck chipped back to the point on this second power play, and the wrist shot is blocked down by Lidstrom and drilled by Yzerman. It went off the linesman's skate and kicked right over to Matvichuk, so he didn't have to give chase. Matvichuk pivoting left, and in here comes Maltby. Score!
What a steal, what a shot. Maltby does all the work, steals the puck from Matvichuk, and does he roof it? Oh, baby, the water bottle jump. Right underneath the crossbar. Maltby's first shorthanded goal of the playoffs. 1-0 Detroit. Maltby's stick. He had to fight off the stick of Matvichuk as he fans on the puck. Watch Maltby shield the stick away. Get it away right there. And then the top corner shot, a beautiful shot. Depressing for Dallas. They've controlled the play. Watch their reaction. They needed a big save. It was a perfect shot. And it's 1-0 Detroit. Oh, what a play by Maltby. Talking about changing the fortunes of a game immediately.
The score of the first goal in every game in this series has been on the eventual winning team that night. McCowan jousted to the boards and glass by Pat Verbeek. Penalty coming up. It's going to be on Dallas.
A double whammy. This time it's going to be Benoit Hogue going, and guess who it was that drew the penalty? That guy, Maltby. What a shift. What a shift for Maltby. A shorthanded goal. He stays on the ice. Here he draws the penalty by Benoit Hogue as he gets driven into the glass. So Hogue goes. Maltby with a sensational shift on behalf of Detroit. Detroit was not playing well. All of a sudden it just turns, just like that. With some great play by a rugged, aggressive forward in Maltby.
Adding to the flame and the emotion of this afternoon now is a little more of a dramatic effect. We're starting to notice fog, particularly in the corners. It's not gotten to a difficult stage yet, but this is a part of history too, and they have gone to great lengths to try to keep these various arenas properly controlled humidity-wise for hockey. Look at all of this. That's what it takes.
They're trying to get some proper air into the building and get the humidity out of here. Bad storms in the Detroit area today. Very, very humid. And remember, we're right next door to the Detroit River. So there's even more humidity in this area surrounding Joe Louis Arena. 4-on-4 action, Mike, and Madonna's out there with all that speed.
Thus far in the playoffs, Dallas has scored 2 goals. Detroit has scored 2 goals in 4-on-4. Lidstrom, save made by Belfour.
Matt Tkachuk turnover again.
An 82-mile-an-hour slap shot by Nick Lidstrom, but on now comes Madonna. Wrist shot turned aside by Osgood. Paddled away, but into traffic. Osgood covers and then scoops it behind with his glove. Slava Kozlov bringing it ahead. Kozlov just twirls away. In 40 seconds, Fedorov will be released. The Red Wings had scored a shorthanded goal. Maltby collecting it. No assist. On the steal from Matt Tkachuk. He just did not get any wood on it as he tried to handle it. And it just flopped right off his stick.
He's playing the power play because Chambers isn't here. Chambers is, well, not playing, let's put it that way. Chambers out with a knee injury. He'd normally be on the power play, so Matt Tkachuk asked to do more than what normally happens. And because of that, Mike, with no Chambers, Dallas can't put Hatcher in front of the net on the power play, in front of Chris Osgood. So with the injury to Chambers, it really makes Dallas reassess their power play.
Just released from the box, Fedorov. Power play, Detroit. Slithered on through. Doug Brown trying to pull his way through. Can't do it because of Darian Hatcher. And this one scaled back down. Ken Hitchcock said yesterday, one of the members of the coaching staff, he did not identify which one, wanted Hatcher on the power play at the front of the net. It worked really well in one game against Edmonton. Big drive, and it went wide from Eriksson. But for reasons John just mentioned, they can't do it. Bouncing puck came over and lost back along for Yzerman, but it's Zubov. Zubov and Yzerman cross sticks. Fed on by Brown, lifted off the glass by Ludwig and kept by Eriksson. Worked closely along now for Brown. Finesses into Yzerman. Around in front, the backhander sealed off by Belfour.
Good play by Eddie Belfour. Good job in front by Skrudland and by Zubov taking care of business. The power play for Detroit has expired.
You know, when you hear cheering for a goal or a save, it comes from your brain. You calculate how your team's going to do, and it's measured by that. An ovation like this, you don't calculate because it's right from your heart. Mike Keane flips it, and it's held on to by Osgood.
Mike, very, very emotional.
It is.
It's okay to be emotional, man. This city of Detroit is very warm with its athletes, and these two, man, what a scene. If we have a stoppage, can I see John Wharton just to thank some people, please?
Back to play here. 1-0 Detroit ahead. 10:05 to go, and we notice the fog again. Here is Rouse. Taken to the corner by Marshall. Chipped along by Fedorov. Oh, was he ever freight trained by Basson, but that'll cost a couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The puck was not there. Charging's a call against Bob Basson. He does not agree with the call, but when you nail a person 6 or 8 or 10 feet away from the puck, you're going to get a penalty, and Sergei Fedorov was really lined up. Basson sees him. Now he wants him. He moves across. It's a clean hit. I mean, he exploded on impact, but the problem was Fedorov was not near the puck. Fedorov looked up at Basson. So here's Fedorov with the puck. The puck will be gone. See, it's gone. And boom. Oh, baby. Basson saw an opportunity to lay one right into Sergei Fedorov and took advantage of it. But that cost his team a penalty. Mike, I was talking to John Wharton, the trainer with the Detroit Red Wings, and who to thank regarding Konstantinov and his family. And he said the Ilitch family, the owners of the Red Wings, have been just marvelous. And he also said the people in Detroit at the Beaumont Hospital did a great job with everything. And along with that, the therapists and doctors in Florida who don't want their names mentioned, they don't have large egos, they don't need that mentioned. They just have been so wonderful in helping getting these individuals back on their, just back and able to do things like coming here this afternoon. They'd really like to say thanks to them, in particular to the Ilitch family.
Fedorov moving in, challenged there by Ludwig. It's put around behind and swept back away from Lidstrom, and it went back down the ice. Well, Joe Micheletti provided some insight into all of this too in a minute. We'll get to that as a good shot. Short-handed by Lettman, went off the glove of Osgood. Fedorov fell, but played it on further. That Konstantinov is not just here on a temporary visit. He's going to stay till fall.
Yeah, which is great stuff. And they're hoping that with Vladdy back here, again with his therapy, being around the team, that'll stimulate everything, get him going, and continue to improve.
Murphy a shot. Oh, and it was tipped wide. As right in the face of Belfour again was Holmstrom.
Belfour having some words with the referee about traffic around the goal net.
And about Holmstrom being in his face like that. He was right at the edge of the crease. Shot by Kozlov is held. And a hit coming from Hatcher.
And Lapointe just got nailed. He went to the net and Hatcher laid one into him. Lapointe up, having some more words. Lapointe loves to jabber. He loves to talk to opposition players. Watch him go to the net. Larionov gave the puck to Kozlov. Now the goalie's got the puck. He's made the save. Here goes Lapointe, and ooh, baby.
Man.
Carbonneau and Hatcher made a sandwich out of him. Lapointe jumped right back up and had a few choice words. He loves to talk, and he's been on a roll. His scoring has been terrific with 6 goals in his last 9 games. Hits by game. Dallas 42. A lot of hitting in game 3. I think we've seen some good hitting here, but maybe not as much as game 3, especially early.
No, I don't want to take away from those figures either because they are impressive. But I wonder if it takes a little more to get a hit registered in Dallas than it does in Detroit, where the game 3 shots or hits.
Oh, Belfour. Remember Belfour got Holmstrom in game 1 of this series up through the legs. Used to cattle on the farms in the spring, you know, the calves, you know what I mean? Roy oysters or something.
Well, the 5-on-3 now begins for Detroit.
I've seen a calf called for tripping, or a calf get tripped.
Here's Lidstrom, giving across then to Murphy, then back to Lidstrom. In deep, here's Yzerman with a shot off the shoulder of Belfour, and he covers.
Well, Belfour gave another slash to one of the players in front. And then after that, he was able to make the save. And you'll see a really smart Steve Yzerman here. Wait for the goaltender to drop down. Look at Belfour. It's Shanahan this time. Oh, there's another one. Now watch Yzerman wait till Belfour went down. Now he's going to try and go up. And you can see the puck just went off his shoulder. That was close. Yzerman, who's a right-handed shot. See, he can have his feet behind the goal line and still get a good shot. And he sees the top corner. Oh, right off the number 20. A close play. And right now the referee's talking to Belfour, and I think warning him again. There you can see Yzerman. He is shrewd. He tried to hit the top shelf. I think Belfour was just warned again by the referee, Mike. He's got to be careful. Eddie plays with fire in his eyes, but at times you have to really control that fire.
Dallas fans will recall a lot of fire in the San Jose series in particular, some against Edmonton, but a lot in San Jose on the part of several players, but Belfour in particular. And there was talk about discipline. Ken Hitchcock doesn't discourage playing aggressively, even if a penalty comes from it. But this type he would. They're down to 7 seconds on the first of the penalties, the one to Bassett. It's dealt back to Lidstrom. Fakes the drive and holds. Yzerman again. Same place. Ricochet off the post and off, and they score!
The Wings are making him pay. You'll see the Wings put 2 men in front of Belfour. Yzerman's a quarterback. There's a shot off the post. The puck sits around, and Yzerman just jabs it in right underneath Eddie Belfour to get the goal on the power play. See Belfour there. Stop the puck a little bit, but it got through him, hit the post. Now, Eddie's not sure where it is. Yzerman reads it. Watch him dart in. Look at the puck. Belfour still doesn't know where it is. Carbonneau nudges it, and then Yzerman on the second effort got it with his hockey stick with the blade. It's 2-0 Detroit. And they are making Dallas pay for a mistake. A mistake with Matt Tkachuk handling the puck. A mistake with Eddie Belfour putting his team down 2 men. And it's 2-0 Detroit. Dallas has to be getting frustrated, Mike. They have not played that bad. They're down by 2.
The frustrating thing, too, is Joe Micheletti was pointing this out to us yesterday. Dallas is saying some of the things that St. Louis said in the last round. You know, these guys are beatable.
The slash by Hatcher. Right now, Larionov is still down. The puck was in the Detroit zone. Larionov had turned towards the puck, and Hatcher just reached out and swatted him right behind the leg. The referee did not see it. As it is getting nasty, the point in the middle of it again. That's Larionov down on the ice.
Minor penalty had ended, and so it was called against the second minor. So very quickly, the Belfour minor was over. The teams are at full strength now, but the ice has been tilted. Pretty good rocking hit on Matvichuk. Gilchrist was hit by Hatcher. No penalty was called because the linesman did not see it either. They could have told the referee about it, but they didn't notice it either. So Hatcher picked the right time. You may notice a little bit of fog there. Meanwhile, it's Gilchrist back out. We're going to get a penalty coming up.
Offensive zone. Mike Modano's going to go. And Dallas is self-destructive. It's a tripping call to Modano. He's really not happy with it. But I'll tell you what, there's one team that was being outplayed early. That was Detroit. But they have shown more poise in the last 5 minutes than Dallas has. Larry Murphy there. There's Modano in the fog. And there's a bump and a push down by Modano. Modano actually got hit by Murphy up high with an elbow, it looked like. And Modano then pushed Murphy down to the ice, who had his feet twisted up. And it was very easy to knock Murphy down. That's what the referee saw. And Modano goes. Last three penalties, Mike. Modano offensive zone, Bassin offensive zone, and the goaltender Belfour using his goal stick.
As soon as the referee's arm came up, I looked across at Ken Hitchcock, and he was clapping his hands. I'm not sure what Scotty's got in mind here, but I'm sure it's something pertaining to this power play. But immediately started clapping his hands and talking up and down the bench. You just can't have any more of this, guys. No more. Detroit is 1 for 3 on the power play. They have 5 shots, and they lead the game 2-0 with a power play goal and a shorthanded goal. Under 6 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the period. Dumped back along through Shanahan, but followed up and steered back out by Murphy. On now to Fedorov. Got out of the way of the joust from Zubov. Fed back around. Daryl Sador checked off by Shanahan. What did you notice, John?
Carbonell just got nailed. I mean, Lapointe went hunted. Carbonell got a stick up to defend himself, but Lapointe is really throwing the body around.
Here comes Fedorov, sliding it back off. Big shot by Lapointe, is steered to the glass by Belfour. 78 miles an hour on the shot by Martin Lapointe. Worked back across for Skrudland to clear back down. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go first period. We're down to the last minute 10 on the Modano minor. Osgood saw it taken and worked back ahead by Fetisov, who gives on now to Yzerman. Flipping it ahead, and down to the ice went McCarty. Skrudland flips off Yzerman's stick and back down. The shots are 10-7 Detroit. It was 2-0 Detroit, then 5-2 Dallas. And then things started to change with Detroit getting power plays. On comes Kozlov, worms it across for Yzerman, but they must play in neutral ice. Now it's dropped in, and they fix their bayonets and go after it. That's the shot. Blasts it back off the glass and down.
Big penalty kill for Dallas, and they look sharp. No setup time, but Yzerman wasn't on the ice for a while. He is now.
Laid back ahead for control by Yzerman. Threw it on through Holmstrom. Bassin checked off. Matvichuk spins it back down.
Good penalty kill, in particular by Matvichuk.
Here's Yzerman bringing it ahead. Fakes and then hands to Kozlov. Pulls off and shoots. Blocked down in front. And cleared back out again. Sprawling in front of that one for the Dallas Stars was Craig Muni. The only defensive change that they've made in this series, and that because of the injury to Sean Chambers.
He has not played since the first 2 games of their last series, and that was against Edmonton.
Muni back for this one. Teams are back at full strength. Bouncing puck. McCowan had some trouble with it. Verbeek tries to paw his way through and can't. Neutral ice. Puck taken along by Hogue. Benoit Hogue flops it back in. McCowan goes for that, but then we're out. Spun back off, and Holmstrom put it off the back of the skate. Swept back away to the boards, and playing it as McCowan again. Dallas bringing out a fresh set of defensemen. Muni peels over near the bench and comes for the change. Drilled wide by Sador. Lapointe tried to get him. And we mean get.
Yeah, Lapointe is probably doing more hitting than any other Red Wing forward here in this first period.
Back is McCallum. Dallas' forechecking starting to at least pay off with some puck possession in the Detroit zone. But not many good chances resulting in the last 10 minutes on Chris Osgood. Scaled ahead, and here's Fedorov to test with Zubov. Fedorov crosses, left the puck behind, turned back along by Lettinen. Head on across for a play to be made to Modano, feathered through for Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner trying to get back in deep. Check to the boards, and still they scrap for it. Shanahan able to peel off with it right out in front, and it's angled away from LaPointe. On across to Zubov again. Sergei Zubov tried to play it through, but it's collared and walked back ahead by McCarty. And so again, Dallas retreats, and Detroit makes a change in line. Zubov hustling ahead as Juha Lind up the wing and angles one that he hopes will get to him, but instead it's Osgood. Bouncing puck thrown to the front, but blocked off by Gilchrist. Good aggressive play along the boards by both teams. And play stopped. 2:53 to go, first period in Joe Louis Arena, the home.
Let's watch and see if Skrudland loses the face-off on purpose. Not this time.
Matvichuk a shot, and that one ricocheted and went to the corner. Wrapped around by Eriksson, kept alive by Hatcher. Darian Hatcher with a pitchfork backhander that's blocked down by Steve Yzerman. Follow up, Fetisov sent flying by Marshall, but instead retreating to play as Skrudland. The last 2.5 minutes of the first period. Maltby shorthanded, Yzerman a power play goal. 2-0 Detroit. Matvichuk ran. Stepping into him was Darren McCarty, the hit leader for his team in the series as well as in the playoffs this year. Yzerman back across. Eriksson dropped it behind, then took a hit.
So you notice, Mike, that the right winger was McCarty. The left defenseman was Matvichuk. Detroit's trying to set up big wingers when Matvichuk's on the ice, so they can hit him instead of Matvichuk hitting the wings. That's one thing Scotty Bowman and his team have done here on home ice. Bigger wingers for Matvichuk.
And in the last game, unlike the first two, Matvichuk did not register a hit, so it worked. Ludwig put it in front, and it carried back over for control in traffic, then left behind by Lidstrom. Penalty coming up. It'll be on Kozlov, and the Red Wings will be shorthanded.
Lettinen draws the penalty. McCarty now going after Modano. Modano gets some help from Muni. Oh, baby. This Martin Lapointe is everywhere. He has shown up in ill humor. Larionov back for his first shift since he got clipped by the stick from Hatcher. And he was back with Kozlov on his line. Kozlov was to get the original penalty. At that point, Lapointe moved over and went after Modano, and then Muni jumped in, and Lapointe, I would suspect Lapointe and Muni will get a couple of minutes each, and Kozlov will get the original, and that'll give Dallas a power play with 1:38 to go in the first period. You can see Lettinen reaching. Watch Kozlov with his stick. Pulls out the ankle of Lettinen as he kept going, looking for the puck. And then Modano was in there, and Lapointe, boy, is he showing up. He's still going. Look at him. He wants to know from the referee what the call was or why. There you can see everybody getting together. Lapointe has played a hard game here. And there you see Craig Muni coming across to protect his player. McCarty and Brian Skrudland. Skrudland was attempting to get over to his. Murphy, the defense pairing for Detroit, always start penalty kills. And there they go again.
It is Mike Keane. Shot to the corner by Murphy. Puck scaled behind. Osgood with it there. Flipped it along for Yzerman. Crunched into a man. Lifted around behind, and Zubov will try to keep it from going out, and he does. Just inside the line. Back across to Sador. Daryl Sador hands back to Zubov. Hawked by Fedorov. Sador worked it back in for Pat Verbeek. Shuttled it along to Keane. Mike Keane tapped it back to the point. Zubov up with it there. Zubov once more. Modano. Zubov. Sador. But cut by Yzerman and lobbed back down.
There's what Yzerman was telling us, Mike, on their penalty kill. If the forwards get too high on the defenseman, Dallas will make that pass in between us, in between our forwards and defensemen. That time Yzerman stayed down low. Dallas tried the nice pass through the middle, and Yzerman was right there.
Maltby hustling ahead, trying to chip it away from Sador, but it's twirled back on for Lettinen. Brought on further by big Darian Hatcher. Hands it off to Langenbrunner. Came back to him off of Maltby. Langenbrunner hands on for Matvichuk. Oh, and Maltby hit him while he was down. Pitch back along by McCowan.
Hatcher in front on this power play. There he is.
Tried a deflection. Worked away by McCowan, but now it's Lettman. Rushed back off by Bob Rouse.
Oh.
Chris Draper's giving away a lot of size to Hatcher. Almost everyone on either roster would be. Now it's a wrist shot held by Osgood, and play is stopped. 5.4 to go in the period. Coming up at intermission, JB along with Dave and Terry Crisp will show you the highlights, plus a conversation with Detroit superstar center Sergei Fedorov. That's all next at intermission.
These guys were having a pretty good time in the pregame show, weren't they?
Making
JB
predictions.
And Dave and Crispy.
Arguing.
Yeah, oh, baby. Ken Hitchcock told us we won't put Hatcher in front of the power play unless we're desperate. Still in the first period, and you can see Dallas is getting desperate. You know, Osgood got away with a trip there, and Hatcher kept it going. He moves across here and goes in on Draper, and boy, is he big. And Hatcher has good hands for a big man, and he plays it tough. Carbonneau on the draw with Yzerman. Yzerman said a lot of times Carbonneau will lift the stick and kick the puck back, so he's expecting it right here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, he tried to do it there. I think Yzerman's ready for it, trying to lock him up right away.
Good shot is blocked off. Thrown back along by Murphy. And that'll do it on the period. Boy, that worked. They pulled the trigger well, but could not get it past Chris Osgood. 10 shots apiece in the period.
Toronto had a team high, and Dallas starts with the 20 seconds to go now on the power play.
One other ice time that stands out is the 2 minutes and 54 seconds played by Igor Larionov. When he took that slash to the back of the legs that was not noticed by the referee of the two linesmen, the slash from Darian Hatcher, he did not come back in the first period. The point is out of the box. The power play is over and the play is stopped.
Yesterday, Eddie Belfour, who's very sharp at taking care of his own equipment. He's worked on his skates for 10 years. See how he's turning his toes in there, toes in, toes in. This is a skate blade, and you see how flat it is. Now, when we turn it to its side, you have something called a hollow within the edges. And the hollow between the edges is kind of U-shaped. And Belfour has a very different hollow on his blade. See, that's the hollow. It's supposed to go like that and be even. There you can see a coin across it, how flat it is. But go to the toe of the skate blade, and you can see that coin. Instead of being flat, it's like that. That's very interesting the way Belfour does his own skates and his own equipment.
Oh, Hatcher a shot, and Osgood made a stop through a healthy screen. Chipped along now, and it went through Brown. What is he sort of plays pigeon toes?
Yeah, his toes are turned in. He has a lot of wraps around his ankles of tape and skate lace, so his skates don't break down. But he really has worked 10 years on refining his own equipment. I think that's terrific. Take care of your own equipment for your own body and your own style of the way you play the game. Players take care of sticks. Golfers take care of their golf clubs. Goalies just take care of their equipment.
Juha Lind tried to work up the wing, but that was denied. Now Strudlin will try the same side, and off the pad of Osgood and wide. Brushed away from Shanahan and taken by the veteran Craig Muni. 35 years of age and 3 Stanley Cups with the Oilers. Strudlin over to Basson, and it's deflected into the seats.
Eddie Belfour did take a minor penalty in the first period, which led to a 2-man disadvantage, and it led to a power play goal. That was the penalty. Well, his team was short-handed at the time. It didn't bother Eddie. He kept on hacking and slashing, and here we are in the second period. He's now doing some movement drills within his goal crease. He stays out above the goal crease, backs in, above the goal crease, backing in, tapping the goalpost and crossbar with his stick, just trying to get himself acclimated to that end of the ice and mentally focused. He's still got it going. Eddie Belfour learned a lot from Tretiak, who really worked with Eddie on his conditioning and off-ice training during the offseason. Larionov's back for Detroit.
Was that ever good news for Detroit forces? Probably the best passer. Maybe he and Adam Oates would be the best passers left in the playoffs this year. Beautiful pass. Chipped along on back to the point. Segura shot, and that got the glass. Kozlov turns, rammed by Jamie Wright. Big shot by Verbeek is blocked on back. Kept alive by Sador. Sador flips one, and it went off the defense of Eriksson. A couple of Stars took care of Eriksson. By math, that frees up Detroit for an odd-man rush that breaks down. Tisserand had it pitched away by Belfour to Zubov. Verbeek stood up by Kozlov. Kozlov turning a pass that's off of Larionov and started ahead. Jamie Wright lobs it on back. Detroit changed 3 of its 4 forward combinations today. Only the Yzerman line is the same as it was last game. And Dallas changed all 4 of its forward line combinations. Centering pass, and it went off Malton. Chipped around behind, and Draper walled by Muni. Oh, and a healthy hit came from Ludwig. Fans would have liked some sort of payment for that. Back to the point, and a shot by Lidstrom deflected off the Stars, and they've got a 3-on-2. Work back ahead for Mike Modano. Moving on, and he's got Lettman breaking. Can't get it to him as Larry Murphy flipped it away. Off a glove, a bouncer is covered by Osgood, and play is stopped.
That was a 3-on-2 that became a 3-on-3 because of the marvelous skating of Chris Draper. Man, does he flyer back. That's Draper, 33. Look at him skate. It's a clear 3-on-2. Watch him go right to the man in the middle so the defenseman can move over. Now he cuts across. Beautiful back check by Draper. 3-on-2, man advantage. Give the puck to Modano. He's the quarterback. Look at Draper. Look at Murphy. Murphy with that quick stick breaks up the pass, and Draper with that marvelous skating gets back. After a game, today, after the game, he'll be in a locker room doing explosive jumps, training after the game, jumping from squats. He's down in a squat, Mike, he'll jump right up onto a box. He'll do a number of them to keep his legs in shape, and even better shape by training after a game.
Did you guys do that?
No.
Why are you laughing?
Oh, we didn't do a lot of that stuff back in the old days. These guys are so much better trained and such better condition than the older hockey players, or at least the majority of them. Full marks for the way these guys train.
Chipped back along by McCarty. Not before, not after. No bicycles back in those days. Shot by Carbonneau, and it went wide of the glove hand of Osgood in the goal. McCowan tried to play it ahead. It went off Keane and dealt back to neutral ice. Chris Draper, a draft of the Winnipeg Jets, played for Dave Farish up in Moncton. Franchise in the American League at that time. Then Adirondack, Detroit's principal farm team, and then here. Chipped along now for a shot by Marshall, and that one slithered wide. Basson up with that. Basson turning, tried to throw it in front, it's blocked. Basson again, and it chipped off the back of the goal. Flung back to the point, Zubov with it. Able to step by one, Zubov to the slot, trying to work it in front, and it's knocked away by McCowan. McCowan lays for Yzerman. Marshall is after him. Yzerman bumped by Marshall, takes 3 and shoots, and it went wide.
So Marshall hit Yzerman at the end of the shift, and Yzerman never lost his balance. He too does those explosive jumps to keep his legs in shape. Man, has he got good balance. Talking about Yzerman.
Here is Shanahan. Shanahan with a pass, and it's spiked away by Daryl Sador. With the pace picking up now, 4.5 gone in the second period. 2-0, the Red Wings ahead, and it's worked back by Shanahan. Gives up the wing. Fedorov with a shot that's wide.
Neutral zone turnover. Here we have an offside.
Our Fox team?
Who will Randy Johnson be pitching for? Us or the Mariners?
I don't know. Good point. Or maybe one of those other teams that we saw there.
Yes.
Here's Ludwig. Do you have your tickets? I don't.
No.
Muni.
Check the mail every day.
I know.
That's plane tickets and game tickets.
I see you have a little bit of deal there. Thrown back across by Ludwig. Away from Lettman, steered back out now by Lidstrom.
Fedorov is just staying real close, like Velcro.
Oh, a deflection in front. Off one of the Stars, it appeared, and into Ed Belfour.
And also, Dougie Brown was going to the net without the puck, and it looks like Muni has banged his right side as he's limping to the bench. When Dallas had the puck, Fedorov was right up against Modano. He just stayed with him like Velcro. As soon as the puck went to Detroit, that's when Fedorov. See, Fedorov's way up there with Modano. Now he sees his team with the puck, so everybody releases. Muni's the right defenseman. Watch him take the shot. Oh, goodness. Now the puck will get to the net, and Belfour has to deal with a puck that caroms off Ludwig, his defenseman. And Eddie Belfour made a nice save on that redirection off a teammate right here. Off the heel of the blade of Ludwig. And you can see Belfour was sharp on the play. He really stayed with it. Belfour reads the play, moves across, follows the stick. The puck went off the stick. Look at his head looking down. He found the puck that time. Stayed with it very, very well. Muni blocking the original shot. They're hurting at the bench.
Seems Belfour is refocused from the first period, John.
It really does. He seems a lot more calm and relaxed and following the puck better with his eyes.
The Red Wings don't have a shot in this period. Offside is called.
Well, that was a shot. We just saw the save, even though
just 44 years of age, but he's been coaching hockey a long time. Started in the junior ranks. Here, two juniors, and the major junior A in Canada. Here's a giveaway to Verbeek and a shot that came off of Eriksson. Wright comes over. Finesse free by Eriksson and tossed around behind. Fetisov got out of the way of the hit coming from Hogue. Wright hadn't gotten a stick from the bench yet, so he couldn't play that. Matvichuk had to draw back to do it. To get out of the way as Hatcher was trying to freight train one, maybe two. Here's Wright to the drive. Wide of the glove hand of Osgood. Seems to be the way most of the shots are coming for Dallas.
yeah, long and wide. And Hatcher took a real run on LaPointe. Missed him. LaPointe ducked out of the way. Hatcher was on a hunting trip.
Remember Vladislav Tretiak's book that he wrote about goaltending and about hockey? Talked about hunting. Here's one that went off the back of the goal. To January 11th of 1976, the game in Philadelphia, he said it was the only time he ever saw one team go out and hunt down the members of the other one.
The Philadelphia Flyers, and they did so. They almost canceled that game halfway through.
It was against the best team in all of Russia. Red Army. Kept along for the follow-up now. That's tossed along for Holmstrom. Holmstrom's pass. Escape back over for a tip back in by Draper. Nearing the halfway point of the second period. Just under 13 minutes to go. Detroit with a shorthanded goal and a power play goal. And a remarkable play at the front of the net and a stop by Ed Belfour as he got his blocker in the way up.
And Belfour looked to be beat on the play. Never gave up on the play. Reached out with his right hand, his right arm, and his goal stick. What a save by Belfour. The stick. Now this is during the TV timeout. Eddie Belfour continues to do a lot of stretching to loosen his back up. His back will tighten up now and again. A little bit older than Osgood. Osgood doesn't have any of those problems yet. Down the line he will.
Everybody gets them sooner or later.
So that veteran defenseman Pat Quinn, who was a coach, of course, in Vancouver and Philadelphia and a general manager, played defense, and he said he was amazed that defensemen didn't have more back problems than they did, because they wind up playing in sort of a bent position too and having to skate backwards and then forwards and so forth. They're hunched over for playing the position properly.
Just looking across, Mike, Craig Muni has just now returned to the Dallas bench, which is a good sign for them. He usually is on the ice with Ludwig, but right now Zubov is there. So the pairing's messed up a little bit. Now, Darian Hatcher's not on the bench either. After that last shift, remember he took a run on the point and missed him along the boards? We had mentioned it. He went after that shift to the locker room.
There is Lettinen wanting to get by. Centered one, and it ricocheted right into the equipment of Osgood, and so play once again is stopped.
You know, you get a sense that when Modano's on the ice with Lettinen and Langenbrunner, that's the best chance to Dallas.
Of the 19,000 plus were chanting his name. You noticed that.
You know, Osgood, I think, has handled a tough city regarding goaltenders very well. He says on days off, he goes golfing. Night before a game, he'll watch a movie, stay in a hotel, maybe watch a hockey game, but he stays away from all the pressure of what people talk about a lot in this city, and that's Detroit's position of playing goal. And he handles it all real well, I think. You know, the last face-up, there's a lift and a kick, but it didn't quite work.
Rouse checked off. McCowan up with it there. Through to Yzerman. On for Shanahan. Flown across for Fedorov. And chipped back in. So Matvichuk with 11:40 to go in the second. The shot's 13-11. And in this period, 3 for Dallas and just 1 for Detroit. That's been it. And an icing on the touch by Rouse.
So Hatcher is back on the ice. It seems to be okay. Now there's Hatcher. He sees LaPointe, and he's going hunting. He sees LaPointe. LaPointe ducks it, and it looks like he flew into the linesman or the glass right there. After that shift, he went to the locker room for a while, and now has returned and just finished his first shift. since that attempted hit on LaPointe. The big kid looks all right. I said to Hatcher yesterday, what would you be if you weren't a hockey player? I said, a marine biologist. I said, come on, now what would you be? She said, no, I'm serious. Certified scuba diver. Loves going to the Cayman Islands. I think if he was down under there with all that garb on, he'd scare away a few fish, wouldn't he?
He would indeed, yeah. Here's Fetisov dumping it back off. Darian 6'5". His brother Kevin, who plays for Pittsburgh, is 6'4". Older brother Mark, 6'7". His father Eric was 6'4" and played semi-pro football. He played it here in Detroit for a team called the Michigan Arrows.
I don't think they had too many problems in the neighborhood either.
No.
Protecting the property.
Back ahead, Zubov. Oh, and a flying shot of 85 miles an hour in velocity that went wide.
I can't see her, Daniel. Thanks, buddy.
Flipped back in front, and a deflection by Marshall went off the back of the goal. The tease-off check by Marshall. Jammed it around behind. Banked back up now for Fedorov. Went back for a little direction from Brown to Fedorov. Sergei Fedorov across for a shot by Shanahan that's wide.
They were working on Bobby Basson, who was filling in for Ludwig, so it was a forward back there. And Fedorov worked on him for a while.
Icing touch up by Kozlov. 10:27 to go in the second. 2-0 Detroit. This game is presented by authority of the National Hockey League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League is prohibited. We're talking about goalies, John, and you know, the equipment that they wear is so heavy, what, probably 35 pounds, maybe
It's
40?
not as heavy as it used to be because it's more water resistant. And it looks bigger and bulkier, but it's actually gotten lighter with the material. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 pounds, I would say, with everything.
Wearing that and having the pressure of the playoffs as Osgood and Belfour do. You talked about what Osgood did the night before, but back through history, there are quite a few occasions of goaltenders who have just been done in by the pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Of having, especially at playoff time, of having to think about it 24 hours a day. And even when they try not to, it's on the radio, it's in the newspaper, and if they shake those things, they're not informed about anything. They probably don't even know that Mercedes took over Chrysler or something. I mean, they're just lost. Around behind for a centering pass, and that flipped back out.
As we have an icing now against Detroit. You know, Mike, I found the playoffs easier to play because you have people do everything for you. You go to the airport, your team's doing the tickets. If you're married, your wife takes care of all the family business, the kids, the banking, paying the bills, everything. You just have to focus on playing goal, and you live your whole life to play in the playoffs. Others didn't like it as much. Personally, I thought it was just a wonderful, wonderful time. I found it a lot harder to play in the middle of January when it was snowing outside. You played 50 games already, and it drags a little bit. Playoffs, this is, you live your life as a person in hockey, whether it be a broadcaster or a trainer or a player or a coach. This is it. It's right here. These teams are in the Final Four.
You know, it's kind of comparable to school. You start about Labor Day and you finish Memorial Day or a little bit after, and you hit that lull in January or February as an old student or something.
Sure, very
Only
similar.
thing is you don't get grades. That's good. That's the good part about hockey. You don't get grades.
You get booed instead.
Well, now that's true.
You see here Draper taking the draw. He's a left-handed shot, so he can pull the puck back in that corner. Yzerman takes him on the near side. He's a right-handed shot. Draper working against Madonna.
Zubov flips, it went wide, rebound, and it's fought off by Osgood, and he turned it aside confidently as this one kicked off of Yzerman. Zubov feeds it across, and he had Madonna breaking, but couldn't get the pass after it. Dug out at the half-court, runner. Falling is Sador, and he made the play to keep play alive for a moment. Now the Red Wings outman and dump it on back. Yzerman poked it across. Draper moving on. Draper fought on by Madonna, couldn't get a shot away. What a wonderful play made by Sador, going down and still recovering in time to play it along the boards. Now across it came for Gilchrist. Gilchrist rubbed it around the boards. It's held there by McCarty. Flipped to the front and chopped to the glass. Now Zubov. Work back ahead for the toss back down. Nick Lidstrom goes back for that.
Dallas looking for offense. That was their five-man power play unit on the ice at the same time. Sador, Zubov, Madonna, Lettinen, and Langenbrunner. Even though it's even strength, Dallas trying every percentage that they can, every angle they can to find offense, and Detroit just not giving it to them. Detroit is getting stronger, it looks like, Mike, defensively as we move along.
Over half the period play. 3 shots for Dallas, 2 for Detroit, 13-12, Dallas in the game. The Red Wings ahead 2-0. If you're just joining us, this is the Stanley Cup Western Conference Finals, Game 4. Detroit ahead 2-1, trying to move up 3-1. In the Final Four, no team has ever gotten to the finals trailing in a series 3-1 in the history of the league. Never. Puck came back to neutralize. Darian Hatcher hands it across. Matvichuk boomed into by Fedorov. Rouse rolled it ahead, and on comes Holmstrom. Crosses in front. Tipped aside, and a penalty coming up. The call is a hook. Hatcher will sit the Red Wings to go on the power play.
Holmstrom, a left-handed shot, wants to get to the forehand. He made the great move, and then he got tugged before the shot. Good call. Stay there during the rehab process down in Florida. Everybody pulled in and pulled together for this to all happen. Boy, it's just things going in a proper direction. We're really happy.
Short-term memory has improved a good deal. His wife was saying that he now knows the score of the most recent game, and 2 months ago he would not recall the score of a game played just a couple of nights before. Lidstrom, a shot, and a scorcher is wide. Now kept alive by Murphy. Murphy feeds over to Lidstrom again. Early stages power play, and the shot deflected, and it popped the boards behind. So they play for it around. It went beyond Yzerman's reach. Modano there. The two of them collide. Modano tipped it back to neutralize and hustles ahead. Mike Modano onside, looking to Letton, and cruises and wrists one, and it's snagged by Osgood. They've been going for his glove side all day.
They've been shooting high all day. Both shoulders, catching glove. And Osgood has fought every single one of them off. There's only been 13 of them, but he's battled hard.
Good news for the Stars. Craig Muni is back out there and healthy. Both he and Hatcher have left in this period and have been able to return and play. Bouncing puck, ladled down by Fedorov. Turns in the last 45 of the power play, but it's intercepted and started back by Daryl Sador. Sador and drive! Ball off by Osgood, rebound! Still a scrap for it. Another shot blocked down and held by Osgood.
Good job by the penalty killers of Dallas here, and a rounding applause here. Loud and getting louder for Chris Osgood. He made the original save, and Carbonneau went looking for the rebound. Sador and Carbonneau. Long shot, but never rebound because the puck was on edge and floating in. Carbonneau robbed, and then Sador gets robbed. 3 saves by Osgood. The original shot, the puck is rolling. For a goaltender, this is the reason why the rebound got away. He had to fight it off, and he did. Now he recovers. Shot by Carbonneau, and Sador followed up his own shot and had a shot. Osgood made 3 good saves. That's 4 shots by Dallas on this penalty kill. Remember, the original went to Mike Modano, then 3 on that flurry. 37 seconds to go now on the minor to Darian Hatcher.
Every face-off significant when you're trailing by 2.
You see, Mike, it's Fedorov. The left-handed shot with a left circle face-off in the Detroit zone all the time. See the Draper and Fedorov over on that side, and Yzerman on the near side.
They bring it back out with half a minute to go on the man advantage. Tipped by Ed Belfour. Dug out by Holmstrom. Scaled along and hustling to play as Murphy. Kept it alive, but misfired for Holmstrom as it scaled the boards. Came back over for Lidstrom on the turning stick of Shanahan. Lidstrom a drive, and it's deflected wide. Rebound, tipped to the front of the net. Matvichuk up with it. Mike Keane tried to pass it across. Shifting from defense to offense. Shanahan fought off, but he got it to Holmstrom. Looks and gives over to Murphy. Larry Murphy spun one back. Penalty time is up to Hatcher, and he races on Larionov, but it's steered over for the drop back in by Lidstrom.
Now, Mike Holmstrom was in front of the net on the power play, and Belfour was careful with his stick this time. He did not use his stick.
Hold on back now by Larionov. Spirited ahead by Rouse and pitched back in. Very workmanlike, the Red Wings. 6 shots, Dallas, 3 shots, Detroit in the period. 16-13, Dallas in the game. 5:35 to go. Jamie McCown, no icing. It's Verbeek taking over. Verbeek trying to get to the front. He scores! Pat Verbeek!
Not having a centerman. Good news for Nieuwendyk. The knees are coming along well. He expects to be healthy for next year. And good news for Dallas as Verbeek gets one without Nieuwendyk in the lineup.
He had no points in 9. Now Well, he has in this 10th game of the string of goals, and a very important one for his team. Langenbrunner trying to get by, but Lidstrom turned it along, and Yzerman rolled it to neutral ice. Sador chopped it ahead. Langenbrunner on with a pass that went off Gilchrist. Here is Jere Lehtinen. Shovels one, and a stick save made by the paddle of Osgood. McCarty up with it, and he lobbed it on back. Icing touch-up by Zubov. Stick stop. Well, Pat Verbeek had waited a long time.
Saturday. If one of the series goes 6 games, we start Tuesday. That's what I've been told.
You're absolutely right. At least it jives with what I've been told. Puck turned back now for Benoit Hogue on the Matvichuk. Shovels one, and it went off the skate. Thrown to the front by Wright. That one blocked away and chopped high by LaPointe. 26 teams started. Seems like a long time ago, back in the fall. We are down to 4. By the end of the week, there will be just 2. And in all of pro hockey, there will be just 6 out of 126 still playing.
Detroit's only had 3 shots here in the second period, but Belfour made a couple of big saves.
Maltby moving in. Draper, and shot hit the outside of the goal. Swung back by Eriksson, followed up by Maltby, but he was poked away from him by Matvichuk. Bringing it on now is Jamie Wright. Big drive is blocked aside by LaPointe and handled by Osgood, just tapped away as the Stars make another change on the fly. Maltby ahead, could not get by the checking of Bob Bassett. 3:40 left in the second. Sent down to the ice, Mariano, by Craig Neely.
Let go, hurry! Let go!
Still hard work came from Holmstrom. Played back ahead now by the Stars. Marshall trying to get by, fought off by Bob Rouse. Attack met by resistance. Kozlov. Good pass that's off the tip of the stick of Wright. Thrown back in by Holmstrom. So Belfour. Langenbrunner comes by. Boy, we've had a heated pace at times, and then every inch has been a war at times. Here's Kozlov. Big drive, and a save made by Belfour, and a penalty coming up.
Skrudland will go. It's a penalty against Holmstrom. Holmstrom at the very end of his shift. I think Holmstrom has been Detroit's best forward in this period. No bandage, no stitches.
No.
Took one for the team.
That's it. Not even a butterfly bandage. Just go back out there and knit.
Didn't have to go to the contact.
Rolled around behind by Murphy and in his control, and then he was knocked down by Hatcher. Worked on a cross. Yzerman waits to the back. Lidstrom a drive, and it's deflected in front off a couple of bodies, and then cleared off the stick of Lidstrom. He kept it from going the length.
Yzerman makes his power play goal. He's a quarterback on the far side of the ice, on the hash marks. When anything happens here, it's because he's setting it up. And then 2 big guys in front of the net, and that's McCarty and Shanahan.
Murphy and Lidstrom toss it in neutral ice. Drilled back in by Lidstrom. Belfour slowed it down. Grabbed it and dealt it on his backhand. It scaled off the glove of Yzerman. Brushed along further by Carbonneau, but pinching was Murphy to keep play alive. Yzerman moving to the front. Yzerman around behind, looking to the front of the net. Tried to bank one in front. He's got it again. Feeds over to Murphy. On the back to Lidstrom. Lidstrom holds. Shoots one side of the net. Shanahan tried to jam into the front. He's buried. Back along the boards. It is Darren McCarty with it for Lidstrom. But it went past the backhand of his stick.
Detroit now changes all 3 forwards. The penalty-killing defense couldn't get off.
Here's Fedorov. In! Blocked aside and cleared back out.
Well, how exciting was that? Matvichuk was getting tired. He dropped down. Got a very bad knee. Got a bad knee. Lost his balance. Belfour the save.
Fedorov, a shot is blocked down by Hatcher. Lifted along and spiked down by LaPointe. Given over to Brown. Pad stop made by Belfour. Brown again with 15 to go. Kept play alive. Belfour forced it right back off the high stick of Detroit. Fed back out, and here's a 2-on-1. Mike Modano trying to skate free. Moving on in, and the pass is blocked aside by Draper. Oh, what an opportunity as a Red Wing fell, and that left Modano moving in all alone, and the pass blocked aside by Draper.
And Draper, with those great skating legs, got back and saved one. Earlier, Fedorov works on Matvichuk, who lost his balance. And here goes Fedorov, inside, outside, around him he goes. A shot and a save by Belfour, who's had a good second period here in this game. Now Fetisov's back. Watch him go down as he changed direction. Modano beat him with the reach. Here comes Draper's stick. Oh, baby. Pass was going right across to Zubov, and Draper with that great skating legs read the play. Look at Draper in the reach. Oh, he may have saved one right there as Zubov had gone to the net. Whoa, what a great series of plays at both ends of the ice. Great defensive plays by some of the players, especially Draper there.
Teams at full strength. Detroit ahead 2-0 and 40 to go in the second period. Zubov walks it ahead. Took some lumber from Larionov. Across from Marshall, and that shot is blocked aside by the defensive Bob Rouse. Kept alive, though, by Zubov. Gave it across. Marshall moving in front. Marshall, a shot that went wide! Around the boards, they battle for it. Larionov able to kick it along. Shanahan plastered, and we get a stoppage of play and a penalty coming up.
Well, what a play by Sergei Zubov in the last minute here to keep the puck in at the blue line. He did that. And Maltby now, he's taken about 6 dives in this period. This time Maltby gets caught. It's an interference call. Now what a play by Marshall. He beat everybody, but he missed the net on the play. Zubov, watch the red jerseys around Zubov at the left point in here. And he steps up and keeps the play alive. You gotta be kidding. Is that taking a chance or what? But he did. And now you see the 2-on-1. Whoops, I'm sorry. Here's Marshall. He's got everybody down and out through the legs. Just wide. What a play by everybody on the Dallas team there. And then after that series of plays, that's when Maltby took the minor penalty for interference.
16.8 to go. Offensive zone face-off for Dallas. The interference minor on Maltby late in the period.
Here's Maltby moving across as he picks up Skrudlin. And Skrudlin embellished that play. Now Maltby takes a lot of dives and draws a lot of penalties. And this time it was the other way around. He did a little stick job there on Skrudlin, who really embellished the play. And this time Maltby got caught. I think Maltby in this series and Barnaby in the other series draw more penalties by using that word we say a lot nowadays, and that's embellishment.
It is Modano wristing one. Pad stop made by Osgood. Fedorov clears it back down.
But Dallas will have a power play to start the third period. Again, Mike, we talked about it. Wrist shots from the blue line. And that's what we're seeing there. Another face-off win. Dallas controlled it, got the wrist. So he starts the power play.
Zubov playing some catch with Sador. We mentioned Modano and Verbeek. The other forward out is Jere Lehtinen. And an offside call. So 10 seconds after we start this period, we stop.
Yzerman and McCarty kill penalties for Detroit. You see 25 is McCarty, the captain is Yzerman. They play together at regular even strength type play, regular shifts. Penalty comes up and all of a sudden it's Yzerman working with McCarty. So they know each other. They're on the ice, killing penalties, they're on the ice at even strength. Generally the next unit up is Maltby along with Draper. They too at even strength play on the same line, so they know each other. But this time with Maltby in the penalty box, let's see if it's Fedorov who steps on the ice to help kill a penalty.
Stars will have to chase again. Zubov. Very deliberately looking ahead. Verbeek skating across. Zubov drilled it wide. Larry Murphy sent it back off a stick. Trying to break loose. That time was Yzerman, but Ed Belfour just swung it back out. Just a little bit of lumber is all it took for him to get to the puck and get a chance on Belfour. Good pad stop made on a shot by Verbeek that registered 85 miles an hour. On back to Zubov now, halfway through the power play. Wrister by Sador, and it's deflected wide. At the half boards, rock was Lehtinen. Zubov a shot, he scores! And the game is tied.
And if you can believe it for Dallas, it's a power play goal. They got to a lot of the loose pucks. It was Draper and Fedorov, not Draper and Maltby, because Maltby was in the penalty box. Some loose pucks in traffic. There was a wrist shot that had gone wide. Right here, Sador, wrist shot, deflected wide by Larry Murphy. But you'll see, good play by Lehtinen, back to Zubov, who skates towards center ice to get the shot through traffic. And the traffic was there, and I believe that was Pat Verbeek. Yeah, Verbeek stayed on his feet. He kept the traffic. He tried to deflect the puck, didn't, and the puck went right inside the goalpost. So Hitchcock And the coaching staff, with the move of getting Verbeek on the ice on their power play, pays off. And you can see the reaction as we're tied up at 2. A power play goal. And it seems like the last power play goal they had was, well, 3 years ago.
Well, it was almost. At least to Dallas fans, it would seem that way. Took over 50 shots at it before they finally got their second one in this long, dry stretch. Speaking of dry stretches, Zubov had not gotten a point in 7 games. Well, he's got one now. He's tied this game on the power play. Lettinen gets the only assist. Pat Verbeek earlier had no points in 9. Well, he's got one in the 10th of this string. And the fortunes for Dallas look much better.
Well, Verbeek, and you can see the tenseness now in this building at the Joe. At the Joe, people feeling it a little bit. Verbeek knocked the puck out of midair in the second period to get the first goal. And there he was in front of the net. Chris Osgood could not see the rocket from the point by Zubov. That's Zubov's first shot on goal in this game. He does not like to shoot the puck for some reason. And that time he did. We're tied up at 2.
Larionov to Fetisov, but off his stick. He goes in with Darian Hatcher and is closed off. Holmstrom got it across. Pass went across the net, fouled wide. Onto the back. Eriksson is shot. Down with Belfour. Puck came on back now for Fetisov. Brushed it along for Kozlov. Slava Kozlov on the outside. Back to Fetisov again. Feeds it across. Big drive by Eriksson is hacked away by the defense. Chipped back along by Strudlin, but into trouble. Detroit picked up a little bit. Maybe because of the threat of this game being tied now. It is Eriksson taking over.
A real strong shift for Detroit after giving up the tying goal. That's a good sign for their club. Can they build on it?
Carbonneau wanting to get by Larionov. No on that one. McCowan jostled off by Lind, but not until he'd released it to Rouse. Touch pass on by Larionov. It's worked cross-ice for Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan around behind. Held off by Muni.
Mike, Dallas got 4 players on the ice. Here comes a fifth. That's Keane. They had 4 players on the ice for 10 to 15 seconds. They have to be a lot more alert than that. They did not have enough players on the ice.
Oh, what a collision. Shanahan and Keane both went down. Sent back in by Fedorov off of Belfour's stick. Pretty good hit by Ludwig. Stars can bring it back with Keane. 2.5 minutes played here in the third period. And Dallas has connected to tie it. The series is 2 games to 1 Detroit. Dallas trying to even it as they have the game. Brought ahead by Maltby. Kirk Maltby ahead, the Red Wings in the midst of a change. Maltby pretty much alone here. Wanting to get by Sador and does. Centered one, and it went off a skate and then wide. Jammed onto the back, Lidstrom. Deflected back in deep by Draper.
Well, here come the hitters for Detroit. Maltby and LaPointe on the ice. They want to get some forechecking and hitting going.
Daryl Sador wore one of the first of the hits from that pair. Thrown back on by Zubov to Jamie Wright. Hurried ahead to Holt, but he couldn't control. Right back up with it comes Chris Draper. Draper peeling off and wristing one. By Belfour. Turned back along by the Stars defense. Matt Tkachuk played it ahead, but instead it's the Red Wings regrouping and recoiling. Gilchrist back across to Larry Murphy. 3.5 played in the third as of right now. Brought back by Jamie Wright. Wright twisting and put it in on goal. Covered by Osgood. Play stopped. 23 shots at Thunder again. Face-off involves Brian Strudlin for Dallas. The veteran who came at the trade deadline. Puck came back for a shot that was hacked off by Bob Basson. He tries to steer loose and neutralize. Chipped on further for Strudlin, and he jammed it back in. Slava Fetisov, that's the whistle on him.
Oh. What'd you see? Eriksson and Basson, just good hard hitting right now.
Here's Gilchrist moving on in! Rebound, and the net dislodged, and the puck hung close underneath.
Mike, it all started right behind the Detroit goal with some big body work by both teams' players and a fabulous first pass out of the zone by Detroit, and then it was a race. Gilchrist did get the shot. There he received the pass. He heads up ice. He puts the puck way out ahead of him. And remember, the last 3 years he played for Dallas. There he takes the backhand shot, followed his own shot. Belfour comes up with another good save. You know, you got to set up these plays by good passes out of your own zone. There was some big body work. There's the McCarty pass, bullseye. Bullseye to Gilchrist, and a good back-checking job, as you see there, by Muni. Now, earlier, we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4 black jerseys. It's not a power play for Detroit. Watch at the bench. Mike Keane will jump off. You need a fifth, gang. Here comes Mike Keane. There he is. I think Dallas got careless and very lucky that they didn't give up one, being a man short without Detroit having a power play.
Delayed offside, and that's wiped. Ahead now with it comes Lettinen. Backhanded it in on goal. Swept away by Osgood. Fed back to the point. Hatcher with a shot. Oh, and a knocked off of Osgood after changing directions radically in front off a Red Wing. Oh.
Man, that puck hit somebody up high and it hit the blocker of Osgood. And the referee blows it dead because it must have been a Dallas player that hit the puck with a high stick. Here's the shot taken from the blue line. Is there a deflection? Yes, there is. And then the save, that would not have counted if the puck went in. As Langenbrunner on the deflection of the high shot from Hatcher. And look at Osgood. He had his, you know what? He didn't see the puck, but he had his body spread out, arms out, just in case, taking up as much space as he possibly could. Now, the rule is, Mike, if that was above the crossbar and had gone in, no goal. And I think that would have been waved off. The puck comes outside the Detroit zone for the draw.
I apologize for misreading that. When I saw Larry Murphy sort of recoil and cover, I thought it had glanced off him.
I think he was protecting himself.
Well, I don't blame him. Another offside with 15:33 to go in the third period. Larry Murphy played his first Stanley Cup playoff game as a Los Angeles King in the early 1980s, and his defense partner is in the arena today, an assistant coach for the Red Wings named Dave Lewis. What exciting times they had in Los Angeles. There was the Miracle of Manchester. Yeah, you'd think that guy, if you were matched up with him, you'd be in pretty good hands.
Miracle of Manchester, it was Dave Lewis who drew the 5-minute major to Gary Unger as their team came back to win it. Larry Robinson leads all, as you see there. And for Larry Murphy, you talked about his first ever playoff game. This is game number 184. A marvelous career for Larry Murphy. Miracle on Manchester. Wasn't that something?
Scotty Bowman was talking about that yesterday. Because Dallas had a pretty huge comeback, though they didn't win game 3. They came from 4-0 down and made it very close at 4-3 before losing 5-3. He said, I've never been a part of a comeback by my team or against my team like that Miracle of Manchester between Los Angeles and Edmonton.
Now, what was the score in that game? LA and Edmonton, LA came back and got 5 goals. I think it was 5-1 and 1 6-5.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I may be wrong on that, but it was that wide of a gap when they came back. Scotty was thinking about that during the game, Mike, he told us. During the game, he said, I got Dave Lewis right here. He was part of that Miracle on Manchester. What happened was Gary Unger for Edmonton took a 5-minute major as he got to Dave Lewis and clipped him. So the Kings came back and won the thing, and they still talk about it. But Detroit was able to get a late goal and win the thing 5-3, and we move into this game. 15:06 to go in the third. We're tied up at 2. A lot of faceoffs now in the Detroit zone. Benoit Hogue has been moved back to play some center ice. If there's a Stanley Cup Finals, game 1 will be either Saturday or Tuesday, June 6th or June 9th. Everybody watch that if you can. It should be a good series.
That was April 10th of 1982, and the score was 6-5. If I recall, Darrell Evans is the guy that got the winner in overtime.
That's a bullseye.
Here, 23 shots to 19. 3 for Dallas in this third period, 3 for Detroit.
Patty Verbeek and Slava Fetisov go at one another in the front of the net. Fetisov plays it tough, as does Verbeek. That's quite a matchup, those two guys. You know, Fetisov is playing with Eriksson as his right defense partner. Eriksson grew up in Sweden, and his idol. That's Borje Salming. No, Slava Fetisov was his idol.
Swept back by Fetisov. Matvichuk a shot, and it was deflected high, and it caromed into the seats.
I think here you're seeing Dallas force faceoffs, and they're getting shots now from the faceoffs, and Chris Osgood doing a good job. A good job, Benoit Hogue. And he'll tip off what he likes to do on faceoffs a lot of times. He'll either bend real low and or else be up a little bit higher. He controlled the draw, got the puck back for the point shot, and Osgood able to make the save. Dallas, as Joe Micheletti told us, quick changes, quick changes. We're seeing it again. Hogue moved to center ice for that shift. Quick shift. Now Madonna's line comes back on the ice. And slowly Detroit makes a change to get their matchup. 5 and 55, that famous pair of defensemen for Detroit on the ice again for Madonna. And you'll see, I think, Fedorov, yeah, he's out there. He's going to try and be a smart defensive forward when Madonna's on the ice.
Matvichuk, who uncorked that last shot, jostled a bit. The puck came to the front, and it's held by Belfour. You know, Matvichuk is playing without a ligament in his left knee. And at the end of the playoffs, and he hoped that's a long time, nobody wants surgery anyway.
Oh.
He will have the ligament from a cadaver put in.
He was limping a little bit, so he's able to get on the ice and play. It's an amazing story, and they say right after the playoffs, he's going into the operating room, and he may not be back until next Christmas.
Yzerman in front on Fedorov, jamming at it, but holding on is Belfour. Oh, it was almost 3-2 Detroit.
Eddie Belfour got his team into trouble in the first period. Untimely penalty, but since that first period, he's been rocked. He's been really solid. And you'll see in front, there's Fedorov, the deflection, and not only the save, but also the cover-up. And Dallas here got caught not taking their men. McCarty works over Sador to try and find open ice, and Fedorov skates out of the corner, took the pass beautifully, and then Belfour really did a good job concentrating with good focus. See Modano missed the puck. It's his centerman that goes in and gets the deflection. That's all it takes, a little missed puck with their stick blade, and the other team's in.
Greg Ludwig rattled it off, hoping for Lind, but instead it's back to Ludwig to try again. Tries for Lind again, and this one skipped through. Lind held back so that McCowan can play. Rouse was doing that for Detroit's defense. Shot snagged by Osgood. Rolled around for Brendan Shanahan. Stoked ahead for McCowan. Chris pass is on for Larianoff. Floated it, hoping for LaPointe, but it's chipped back over for Lind again. Speedy young man from Finland trying to step through. Rouse can't do it. Here's Mike Keane trying to center. And it is taken by Shanahan, and he brings it back out. Under 14 to go. Tied at 2. Brendan Shanahan pinballed one that was right in on goal off the door. And it skipped on back where Fetisov will go to get it. Larionov chipped it across. Brought back on by Kozlov. Fakes the drive. Shoots one, and a save made by Belfour.
And Kozlov is slippery. He's tricky. He skates very upright so he can disguise his shot. He went wide and got the shot on goal, and Belfour makes another save as Detroit's picking up their game here a little bit. Take a look at the save that Belfour makes and how long it took for the puck to get there. Fake shot, wrist shot. Just over a third of a second for the puck to get to Belfour, and he held on as he's done a nice job, has Belfour, in covering up the puck. No rebounds. And let's go back to the second period when he made the stick save on the backhand side of his stick on Holmstrom. Yeah. It was 2-0 at the time, or it would have been 3-0. That was the biggest save of the game by either goaltender.
Lidstrom a shot, and that one blocked by the defense. Matvichuk got in the way of that. It's thrown to the front of the net, but that again blocked by the defense. Pitchfork back out once more by Mike Modano, gathered in by Murphy, swung ahead for Doug Brown. Brown's pass is off Sergei Fedorov. Watched there by Hatcher. Tries to go by, plastered to the boards and glass, pop on back to Lidstrom. Nick Lidstrom flipped one that's off Brown. Picked up by Kozlov, but then lost. Without a stick is Mike Modano. Kozlov worked it into Fedorov, out in front off the stick of Belfour. Loose puck, Kozlov had it off the side of the corner and thrown in front by Murphy. Langenbrunner after that one. Larry Murphy waiting for it now. Fires, and that one hit a defenseman. Came on back. Kozlov a shot. That one blocked off. Fedorov goes after it. A couple of players down. Fedorov, one of them. It's pitched back out by Lettman.
And Matvichuk's in trouble, Mike. Oh my. He dove to get the puck, and as he dove, he was slammed into the boards. He's in trouble. Right wrist. Oh my. That's a big problem. No Chambers. He did not dress for this game due to a knee injury, and now they lose Matvichuk, who played more than anybody.
Ludwig and Muni, the defense combination for Ken Hitchcock's team now. And an offside call again. 12:28 to go in the third period.
The adversity of playoffs. Teams that win get through these situations. Detroit last season, in winning the cup, got through the playoffs rather unscathed. They have a great deal of depth up front, does Detroit. That's helped them. Doug Brown's returned today into the lineup. And now for Dallas in a 2-2 game. The biggest game of the tournament for them. If they lose this one, it'll be tough to come back. They need the rest of this third period or overtime if it takes that.
Last year, Detroit lost only one-man game because of injury in their run to the playoffs. Shot, save made by Osgood. Picked up by Jamie McCowan. Dumped back along, but McCowan has to play again. Tries the other way this time. Will it work? Good close off on Holtby. Muni pitched it behind. Dallas with good containment. McCowan will try a third time. Flopped it along. It's kept by Wright. Gloved by Osgood, and he'll wait. He's up against Brian Skrudland this time. Couple of false starts, and then Yzerman stepped right after it. But Skrudland got it. The board battle involves Erickson for Detroit. McCarty couldn't push it past. And then it's kicked back out to neutral ice by Yzerman. So now Dallas getting set. Nearing the halfway point of the third period, the game tied at 2. Sador matched up with Sergei Zubov. Sador with a pass ahead. Bounce loose, regathered by Bob Batson. Put off the linesman's skate. Bumped away now for McCarty, and he turned it on back. Sador lifted it back. Pucks remain alive off officials unless it goes directly off an official into the net. Rarely does it happen, but those don't count. The point with a shot deflected wide. Rebound put off of Belfour. On back to the point now, McCowan. Detroit hoping to attack. Ludwig took care of Lariano and then steps to play it, but his pass is checked away by Gilchrist and pumped back. Mike Keane has it there and starts it back for Dallas. Keane hurrying it on, spirited in by Lynn, but he can't paw his way by the Detroit defense, and a penalty coming up, and a little extra hit after the whistle too.
The one thing I've seen with Lynn is he keeps his legs going. Number 11 Black, he keeps his legs going. Oh, I think Detroit's going to be short-handed. Interference call. They do have a goal in this third period on the power play.
1 for 21 in the series, but the one is huge now because it tied the game.
Remember, no Chambers and now no Matvechuk. So the point position for Dallas on their power play is down to Sador and Zubov, and then maybe Hatcher.
Mike Modano backhanded it behind. Better off, closed off by Verbeek. Hit by Steve Yzerman, but it's turned on to Verbeek. Moving to the front, and it's off of Osgood. Now played along by Larry Murphy. Murphy waits. Chipped one that went off of Pat Verbeek. And he shakes it back conservatively now for the advance by Zubov. Zubov creeping on in, trying to pick his way through, and it's off him on goal and stopped. Let's hear from Joe Micheletti down near the Dallas bench.
Okay, Mike, thanks very much. Richard Matvechuk suffered a shoulder injury. He will not return for this game. They will reevaluate him tomorrow in Dallas, but he will not return with the shoulder problem.
Well, he was grabbing at his right wrist, wasn't he, when we saw that one close up?
Maybe pulling his arm into his body if the right shoulder had popped out. He really jammed his right arm into the boards. So for Dallas, now you think about their team, Mike, with them down a defenseman here, Muni not playing a whole lot. Their flow offensively, when they get back to even strength, their defensemen, I don't know if they'll jump into the play too much. They got to conserve energy. Detroit, on the other hand, I think if they go on the flow offensively as we move along, they may send their defensemen into the play.
Maltby fiddled that one back down with 1:10 to go on his team's shorthand situation. Sador bumped by Maltby. That again has a wearing effect when you hit guys back there. And so Maltby wants to make sure that he does that, especially when it doesn't endanger his team. Quick brush hit and move back to center to play. Here's Hogue. Langenbrunner and Mike Keane are the other forwards on this power play for Dallas. It's got 45 to go. Langenbrunner pestered by Fetisov, but he escapes. Feeds it onto the back. Sador has it there. Hands it over to Zubov. Sergei Zubov back to Sador. Wrist shot, and it knocks down in front. Picked up and controlled by Maltby, and he's able to scale it back down. It was hung up in the equipment of a Detroit defenseman for a moment, and then it squirted loose. Eventually to be cleared. Zubov with a pass that skipped back on. Larry Murphy plays it safely back for Lidstrom, then back ahead for control by McCarty, and he just stoked it back deep. 15 left on the kill.
Now Zubov's been on the ice almost a full 2 minutes. He's got to be careful he doesn't get himself exhausted and caught out there for too long of a period of time.
In 2, in 1. They've killed it off. The teams are at full strength. Hatcher angled one to the corner. Missed by Skrudland, but gotten by Yzerman, who moves ahead. Steve Yzerman with Kozlov peeling off. Got it over to Murphy. Score!
goal. This is just marvelous. The penalty has just expired. McCowan is back. And now watch Murphy join the play. We said Detroit's defense might jump in. He did. A little tip in front. And Detroit has the lead. Great read. Look at Stevie Y. Dumps it off to Murphy. To the net goes Kozlov. A little redirection. And Detroit has the lead. This is just a great goal, folks. A great, great, great goal. Working one side of the ice. The redirection up over Belfort. Murphy, the defenseman, will jump into the play on occasion. He read it beautifully. And the Red Wings have regained the lead after killing the penalty off. And their penalty kill, Dallas never had a sniff on the power play. What a goal that was.
Helmetless. Fedorov stepped into Hatcher. Keane flew it back in. Carbonneau there. Overskated by a pair and play called back anyway. 8:04 to go. The finals, and we'll be pleased to bring it to you on Fox. The Let's Go Wings chant has begun. They've gone pretty well in the last couple of minutes. The Kozlov goal with a lot of help from Yzerman and a shot from Murphy helped make that happen. Thrown back along by Osgood. Played by Darren McCarty. McCarty flipped one that came ahead to Gilchrist, but he was across the red line. So a two-line pass.
Mike, let's break down the go-ahead goal by Detroit. As we move it ahead, you'll see it's not an odd man rush. It's an even strength rush. Now we stop it there, guys. You can see, you know, it's 3-on-2 Dallas there with an additional man moving in. But watch how the ice is divided on the near side. Now stop it there. As soon as Yzerman cuts to the inside, two stars go to him. That allows Murphy to move in here to be open. And watch this man, Kozlov, go to the net. Kozlov goes to the net. Murphy's open. One of the players left his feet. And that's all it takes. That's a brilliant goal on the rush. Kozlov went to the net without the puck. Turned his blade for the deflection to allow the puck to hit his blade and go up top over Belfort. Larry Murphy hit him with the pass, and it was all set up by Stevie Yzerman. You love to see beautiful offense in this league. That, folks, was a gorgeous goal.
Slava Kozlov has a point a game in 4. This is game 4 of the series. He's registered a point in each one. In 95-96, he had a goal in the first dozen games. Then Igor Larionov arrived. Talked about what a great passer he is. He played with him a little while here in the first period today. He got 35 goals before the end of the season. Oh, and a shot by Hogue. An 86-mile-an-hour fastball.
And it missed the net. It came all the way down to Eddie Belfort. That fast of a shot that misses the net. You trap all your players deep. You've got to hit the net.
Zubov across to Ludwig. That one wound up going out of play with 7:04 left in the third.
And the Wings fans feeling it here with a 1-goal lead. The Stars have attempted a shot, have not registered one since Detroit took the lead. Dallas sitting on 26 shots for. We'll see if they can find offense over the last 7 minutes. Detroit's always been exceptional at dealing with the lead. Detroit going with 4 lines. Dallas shorthanded, especially on their blue line.
Ripped back in by Carbonneau. Stopped by Osgood for Larry Murphy. Under 7 to go in the third. And the Red Wings ahead by a score of 3-2. It is McCarty able to pull up a back and forth. Early crunch. Sador trying to jam it loose. Skip back ahead for Keane to float across. Maltby hacking at it. It's kept by Draper. Thrown back off by Sador. The goal that broke the tie, Kozlov from Murphy and Yzerman at 11:30. Last time, 8.5 to go when he scored. Sent back over for control of the Stars and sent flying is Mike Modano. Darian Hatcher tried to work in. Modano did, but an offside call.
That's what Modano was talking about yesterday. He said, my 23 minutes feels like 33 or 43. I get exhausted when I go to the bench. He said sometimes you just wish the period was over. There's no room. These guys are really good defensively, and that time it was Draper with that speed that caught Modano, who has great speed. And Mike was unable to make a play inside the blue line because of it. He's trying to find space just to get his speed going. And when you have 1 or 2 guys always draped over you, it becomes exhausting.
a rest from the Red Wing blanket right now. But he's seen a lot of ice time, and he'll see more because his team needs him. They're down by a goal in the game. Angled in from McCown. Then Fedorov. Fedorov again.
Fedorov Hogue in between Modano's line mates here, his normal line mates. Hogue is a little fresher.
Osgood blocked the pass from Langenbrunner, and here might be an odd man rush. Bob Rouse lumbering ahead. Rouse backhander that was wide. Now play back along for Fedorov. Fedorov tried to play that one ahead, but it's Lettman in the way, and then Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner a shot, and a pad stop made by Osgood. The long pass on to Kozlov. Slava Kozlov rolled it back in, and going to get it is Bob Bassett. After him is McCarty. 5:12 to go. Third period, and the Red Wings ahead in the game 3-2. Gilchrist couldn't get that one. Played back in by Muni. Osgood sets it up. Kaprizov gave it up at the half boards to Marshall. Flung one in front, and it's deflected into the seats by Eriksson. 4:50 into the cast. Sidor a shot, and that deflected in front. Scramble, and it went off Osgood and wide. Out in front again, and it's Zubov backing it up. Zubov floats it back in. Steve Yzerman with it there, but he's chased right off by the checking of Pat Verbeek. 4:40 to go, third period. Thrilling game here at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Puck worked ahead now for McCarty. McCarty caught by Verbeek, spun around, and rendered helpless for nothing but a spinorama and a backhand twirl. Back ahead now with it is Modano, but it's spiked away by Lidstrom. Fed back in by Yzerman. Around behind to be stopped there. Oh, and Sidor was hit by, guess who? Martin Lapointe again. Osgood out of his goal. Rust, he gave it up at the board. Zubov tried to play it along. In the way was Larionov, and the battle continues.
Dallas defensemen do a lot of pinching now to keep the play alive. There's Zubov there. He's waiting. Can't keep the puck in.
Darian Hatcher banged it back off as the clock bleeds down to 3:53 to go. Rich shot by Modano. Snuffed right out by Murphy. Fed onto the back. Hatcher there. Shot, and a riser got the glass.
He had to go high with Shanahan sliding across. That's why the shot went over top of the net.
McCarty again. Lobs it back in and makes the clock do his work. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the third. Benoit Hogue. Sean Chambers on defense could not play today. Richard Matvechuk cannot finish. So Dallas short on defense. Osgood will hang on to this one.
And Craig Muni hadn't played much. He too was injured in the game, but came back to play some more. Here you see Lapointe. He lines up Sidor, who braced himself. Good, clean, hard hit. And now you're going to see the play as Hatcher moves in. Watch Shanahan slide. Hatcher reads that and has to go high with a shot to get it over Shanahan. Ended up putting the puck right over top of the crossbar. The timeout is still available to Dallas. There's 3:17 to go in the third. Detroit, too, has a timeout remaining, but they don't need it as bad as Dallas does.
Well, that music is a moldy oldie, but for me, I remember when it was popular.
You know, Mike,
so does Scotty.
I think if Carbonneau wins the draw here from Fedorov, you're going to see Hatcher, who's up on the hash mark, go to the net. That's Hatcher. He'll go to the net if Carbonneau beats Fedorov.
Off of Hogue. Sidor. Deflected across by Marshall. He might have been trying a touch pass, but nothing there except a breakaway on in by Yzerman. Oh, a diving, marvelous play from behind by Sidor. Oh, a game saver at this point. Then a shot by McCarty, but it was offside.
Hatcher played up on the draw. Their team ended up, Dallas getting some kind of a shot, but with Hatcher in deep, only one man was back, and that was Sidor. Detroit with that quick pass again. And look at Sidor battle back, get the puck first. What a play. Yzerman actually took the puck to his right side and helped Sidor a little bit. If Yzerman goes to his left side, our right side, he might have been in free. Instead, he cuts back to his right, and there's Sidor with a stick. Great defensive play. Another good pass from deep in the zone. That time, again, by McCarty as he banked the puck off the boards, billiard style. And Sidor made the saving play on Steve Yzerman.
Sidor, 26 years of age, but he has played for Ken Hitchcock dating back to when he was 15. Ludwig, roll block by Maltby. Zubov working the boards. 5 players. And the first one to it eventually to turn away a Zubov. Then Ludwig. 2.5 left. Around the roulette wheel, chipped back by LaPointe, but they said it was outside, just outside the line, and so when Dallas advanced, it was an offside call.
Well, Scotty Bowman's team, he wanted north-south hockey. We talked about that as the game was about to begin. He didn't want east-west. He wanted north-south. We're not seeing the turnovers now by Detroit with the lead.
Ken Hitchcock first knew him as a 15-year-old center. Ken Hitchcock years ago, then changed him to left wing at 16. You will see Ken Hitchcock from the right and Darryl Sydor from the left highlighted from the Kamloops Blazers of the Western Hockey League. At 17, Hitchcock changed Darryl Sydor's life to defense. And boy, has he ever been huge.
And Ken Hitchcock's life has changed, too, with the weight loss. So we give him all full marks. Boy, he's battled it and done a great job. And Sydor has been a great player for Ken Hitchcock through the years. As here we have Detroit calls for the icing. 2:15 to go. Since the goal by Kozlov to give Detroit the 3-2 lead with over 8 minutes to go, Dallas has registered 2 shots. That's all. So Detroit stingy with their defense. And they set up for another defensive zone draw.
Today's game is being produced by Richard Zions and directed by a longtime veteran Emmy Award winner who at one time he's probably had a number of shots like those in his telecast, Sandy Grossman, whose very first event was the second period of an NHL game. Then came all the other stuff. The studio was produced by Nancy Bernstein, directed by Bob Levy. Thanks also to our technical producers Dean Walker and Peter Callender. Our associate director Larry Lancaster, the senior producer of Fox Sports Bill Brown, executive producer of Fox Sports Ed Gorin and David Hill. The face-off near Osgood with 2:15 to go. Lettman to the point, Zubov. With it, Fedorov. The bounce pass ahead is onside. Deliberately, McCarty. The clock on his side with 2 minutes to go in the third. Carbonneau around now for Darryl Sydor. Carbonneau again. Jostled off by Fedorov, but he recovered a hand to Zubov. Boy, there's a wall there. He picked his way through, but only for about 3 feet. The glove grab by Osgood. The play by McCallum. Hacked along by Rouse. McCarty trying to get it further. Hand passes it to neutral ice. Yzerman can't take this. Pitched along by Lettman. Down to the last minute, 28. We'll keep an eye on Ed Belfour. Zubov rubbed it back in. Belfour at the hash marks. But he won't do anything just yet. And the puck to the seats.
Tough break. Zubov over there. If he wins the draw, and he doesn't, what a battle this is.
The net is empty at the other end. 6 attackers for Dallas. Lettman around behind. Mike Modano. The shot by Verbeek was wide of the goal. Did not get much wood on it as there was a crowd and a lot of jamming both behind and in front. 1 minute even to go.
Chance of a lifetime for Verbeek in front, who's very strong. He gets the puck from Modano and sweeps it off the heel of his stick and wide. Was he outside the goal crease? He's in, he's out, and the puck was rolling, and it just skidded along his blade of his stick and off the heel and wide. Modano was the player that was able to get the puck in front. Verbeek is low to the ground, low center of gravity. He spreads his legs out and he puts his stick down, which creates a tripod. And that tripod gives him balance, and he can't be knocked down very often in front.
5'9", 190. Backhand shot by Lettman is covered by Osgood. Just plumped the glove on it and held it to his body.
Lettman is one of the smarter players in the league, and when the puck's loose on a faceoff, he'll get there. He's done it a lot here in the third period. Nobody really won the faceoff when the puck's dropped, but watch Lettman dive in. Watch his strength and stick. How about that? Just bang like that to the backhand and get the shot on Osgood. Lettman is really bright and quick and strong at finding loose pucks. Again, on the right side, it's Yzerman with the important draws. On the left side, it was Fedorov.
So to take this one, Guy Carbonneau.
Now the defenseman changed sides here. Look at Murphy's the right defense. He went in front. Lidstrom, since he's a left-handed shot, Mike, left-handed shot. If the puck goes in here, he's a left-handed shot. He can shoot it around on the forehand. Percentage play by Scotty Bowman.
Another scrum. Lidstrom played it along. McCarty could not get it out. It's kept alive by Letton, and then flipped back out. Sador retrieves. Down to 45 to go. The net empty. 6 attackers. Dallas, they need 1 to force overtime. Pop back in deep in there to play it as Larry Murphy. Dumped it on around. LaPointe hacked at it. Puck kicked over to Eiserman. Can't get it out. It went off for Beek. He went down. Puck fed back over to Letman. On back to the point. Zubov dips the shoulder. Tries to get by. Zubov in the corner. Threw it in front. Save. Osgood. Rebound cleared on back. Sador backhander, and that knocked away by Eiserman. Kept alive for another shot. Blocked on the defense by Murphy. Then Sador another drive, and it went wide. 17 to go. Pittsburgh confronted. A shot by Verbeek is wide. Another one thrown through the net mouth. Madonna up with it. Feet to the back. 8 seconds to go. Shot. Deflected. And then it goes up into the seats and play is stopped.
Desperate hockey by both teams. Osgood keeps the puck out. Dallas battles to try to tie it up. 6.5 seconds to go. Exhausted. You look around the ice right now, everybody's folded over. Here's a shot, deflected wide. Never got through to Osgood. Puck recovery, in front, shot wide by Verbeek. Another shot that went wide. Osgood moving left to right, right to left. Here's the shot that was deflected up high and wide. Mike, after the whistle, everybody just stopped. They were bent over at their waist, exhausted. Osgood got that.
I thought it went up into the seats. I saw people reaching, but maybe he did.
Off his shoulder. That means the faceoff will stay inside the Red Wing zone. A little discussion going on now with only 6.5 seconds left here in regulation. There's a huddle. Hatcher, Sador, and Keane maybe buying a little more time to find some rest. Hitchcock put a couple of fresh bodies out there. Keane is one of them. Carbonneau for the draw. Fedorov goes over to the Detroit bench. He now leaves. Eiserman for the other big draw.
He did not get that one. They looked at it in the truck, said no, it careened up into the seats. Puck drilled back around, and it's kept alive, but down to a second and a half. The Red Wings have won it. Oh, and a powder keg brewing here. This has occurred after the end of the game. Right now, it looks like they'll be parted peaceably.